I noticed in the Constitution that you have all the UN agencies continuing, but under this broader auspices.
Yes.
So right now, we are in an interactive Zoom conference here, and all over the world, people are engaging in these interactive Zoom conferences, and they're beginning to learn, how as a planet we can interactively interact through with everybody involved, not just electing representatives who then take our positions to somebody else, but where we're actually interacting. How do you see the both the future assemblies of the happening in the digital world, and how can this Constitution evolve in a more digitally interactive world?
Yeah, that's a good question. As a matter of fact, we have one person on our board of the Earth Constitution Institute that works hand in hand with the World Constitution and Parliament Association. And his name is Lucio Rodriguez. And he's the head of a new project called the Orbis Project. And the Orbis Project is collecting support from sophisticated digital experts and platforms, because what we're going to be doing is creating blockchain secure voting IDs for people around the earth, people who are interested, so that people will be able to have secure online voting. And as you remember a moment ago, I said there's 1,000 electoral districts, and we're in the process of defining these districts. Many of them have been defined for a long time, but we're refining those original boundaries of the districts. So in the process of defining electoral districts and signing people up for secure digital voting, we're in the process of creating a virtual world auditorium that will be the seat of the virtual world parliament as it emerges. So right now we've called for the next session of the Provisional World Parliament, which will be in New Delhi. The date is next December. But by that time, we may well also have the capacity developed to actually hold virtual world parliaments.
Mm-hmm. Well, I love that idea of the virtual world parliament, and count me in, because I'm very interested in that. Now,
Good.
right on this call, I see we have one of the people, Michael, who's listed there as Global Citizen One. He was one of our speakers talking about the digital identity, and he was talking about going beyond the blockchain to a holo chain, a more holistic and environmentally friendly way of doing that. And we also have coming up on the planet, if you go to peoplepoweredplanet.com, we have also on that same subject, we have on the virtual state, we have a Jan, Brendan, Brad, and Mike are all part of this virtual nation evolution of digital identity and world citizenship, and tying in with, there are a lot of people beginning to work on that. And then the one after that, it will be Rufo, who is a entrepreneur with, again, a way of making secure digital identities. So, and of course, between those, we have a fantastic opportunity. We have Shekhar Mehta, who is the president-elect of the entire Rotary around the world, a great way to connect with people around the world. And I see Barbara and other Rotarians are here on the call, who are Richard Denton and a variety of others who are part of that important outreach opportunity. But coming back to the digital world, one of the things I'd like to perhaps stretch your mind a little bit is one of the conversations I used to have with Gary. And he was saying, he had hired this integrity expert who had worked with Buckminster Fuller and these sort of more holistic designs based on the geodesic sphere and synergy and synergistic coming conclusions. And he said, this whole idea of win-lose democracy, like you elect a representative and then 51% are for them, the other aren't, half loses, half wins. You also have then representatives. He says in the film, as you saw, he says, nowadays we all meet in the global room. We're doing it right now. And what he was advocating was a kind of interactive synergistic system where instead of okay, do we vote yes or no on this? Do we vote right or wrong? He said, people are so much more than a vote. We're full of ideas and creativity and other things. Why not find an interactive way to tap into the highest and best wisdom in each person? Voting brings us to the lowest common denominator. Well, okay, let's just happily assemble just enough people to defeat this and win our side. Whereas this old, more synergistic system could bring out kind of the best in everyone, where everybody's putting their best minds into and getting access to what are the things that work and how can we apply those here. And everyone's interactively coming up with the best for the planet. Do you see some possibility as you're going into this more interactive digital world of moving the Earth Constitution in that direction?
Well, yeah, yes. For one thing, I think voting. Many people understand, as we do, that voting no longer has to be justly, a winner of 51% of a vote. We can have various systems of voting which are weighted, which take into account the minority view and so on, and are I think much more democratic, much more dynamic than winner-take-all type voting systems. One of the legislative acts that we passed several parliaments ago created a global people's assembly movement. And because what we, as I mentioned, we have the 1,000 electoral districts, and at today's population of the world, that comes to about 7.8 million people per electoral district. Right. When the Constitution was written, it was about half that. It was about 3.2 million people, but the population of the Earth has doubled since then. So we created the Global People's Assembly and set up a mechanism for energizing people at the grassroots level. And I think what you're talking about is in our way of our vision of how we can make this world democratic, it has to do with those global people's assemblies. They'll be digitally connected. They'll be alive and directly interrelated with the delegates who go to the World Parliament from each of these 1,000 electoral districts.
Great.
So we are looking in that direction. Yes.
Excellent.